and welcome to yet another tutorial. My name is Carolina, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to make this cute dress using my new sewing pattern called Monique. You can buy this pattern from my shop on Etsy, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. We'll start by preparing all the straps. Starting from the shoulder strap, fold it in half right side to right side, and stitch them so they are not wider than 1 centimeter. Then trim off seam allowance, but be careful not to cut the stitch line. Turn shoulder straps to the right side using a loop turner or a safety pin. Moving on to the drawstring straps, fold it in half right side to right side and stitch them so they are not wider than 1 centimeter. Then trim off seam allowance, but be careful not to cut the stitch line. Then fold one end of the strap twice and top stitch. Moving on to the waist straps, fold it in half right side to right side and stitch them so they are not wider than 1 centimeter. Then trim off seam allowance, but be careful not to cut the stitch line. Then fold one end of the strap twice and top stitch. Place front panel of the bodice on the right side and place straps on the ends of the neckline. Place over the second bodice panel so they are right side to right side and pin down the neckline.
Used to look so pretty, now making me moody.
Now, in the middle of the neckline, you should have 3 notches that will mark where 3 stitch lines will be. So when you sew the neckline, you need to leave a gap where those notches start and end, just like so.
Maybe I'm just getting it now.
Also, remember to run a back tack stitch on the shoulder straps just to keep them in place.
Demons really catching up.
I turned the bodice to the right side and pressed the seams. And now we have that small gap we left. Mark with a pin the middle of this gap, and now you should have 2 of them. Make a stitch line in the middle and then 2 on each side 1 centimeter away from the center line. I'll mark the center front with the pins to make sure that my stitch line is straight. You could also use chalk if you prefer. Trim all the threads, and now you have 2 seams to insert the drawstrings to. Take a safety pin and starting from the raw unfinished strap side, insert it to the seam.
Get emotional, but I know I want to make a mark with them, so I'll not be forgotten. Maybe I'm just getting it.
And repeat the same steps with the second drawstring.
Damn, I took a little time out. Demons really catching.
Then make a small back tack stitch just to keep them in place. Next, place back bodies on the right side facing down and pin shoulder straps 10 centimeters from the side seam. Make sure that when you pin them down, they are not twisted.
Let's forever. This is just a
So with bodies facing the right side, pin the waist straps only to the side of the front panel, approximately 1.5 centimeters from the waist. Then do the same on the other side. Then open the front and back panels and place them right side to right side and sew the sides together.
Not getting over it.
And that's your top part of the dress ready.
Got no money,
Moving to the skirt, we will stitch the sides using a front seam technique, meaning pin front and back panels together, wrong side to wrong side first.
guys like you. So you thought that I'd learn by now, but it's a 4-year-old kid still talking. But when we still talk,
Then trim seam allowance, but be careful not to cut the stitch line. Turn the skirt to the wrong side and roll the side seams in your fingers to get all the fabric out. And then stitch the sides of the skirt once again.
why is it so much easier for you? Oh, did you say this is going great? I felt it, so I just bought it. I don't know what I've started.
Then with bodies on the wrong side and skirt on the right side, insert the skirt into the bodies.
Feels amazing. I'm here and I'm caught up dreaming.
The waist straps on the bodies should be on the inside.
So you wanna? I guess it's much easier for you. Why is it so much easier for you? I guess it's much easier for you. Why is it so much easier for you?
Pin and then sew them together.
For you.
Then overlook the seam allowance. If you don't have an overlocker, you can just run a zigzag stitch or bind that seam. To finish off the hem, fold the raw edge twice and finish with a top stitch. And that's it! Just pull the drawstring straps to create ruching on the neckline, and the waist straps you can tie at the back, and then you have your own perfect winning dress. Thanks for watching!